Here we go now.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. Guys, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. This is a special live. We've been trying to make this happen for a while now, and you know we love a good doctor, a good Black doctor. We just were talking about some maybe not so good, but great Black doctors as well during our Married to Medicine recap, and I have to pick her brain on that. But before I do that, guys, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to share the video. As I said to you before, we have a special guest here today. Dr. Freda McCray-Fisher is a quadruple board certified physician with specializations in nephrology, hypertension, and diabetes, and widely regarded as one of the premier specialists in her field. She has been featured on HLN, Fox News, NBC, CBS, and our friend, The Don Lemon Show as well. Dr. Freda is also the author of her book, Under Pressure, A Guide to Controlling High Blood Pressure. I'm so excited to have her here today here on the channel. Dr. Freda's here. Dr. Freda, we've been trying to get this together for both of us for you to be here on the channel. And after this, you're part of the community. You have to be here at least quarterly.
My pleasure.
At least quarterly, because I have to pick your brain, and I love the videos that you post on social media in regards to it, and it connects with pop culture and what's medically going on in the world. But before we even get into that, I just gave a brief overview of your resume. First of all, you also have nearly 1 million subscribers here on YouTube. I forgot that, small part, 1 million subscribers here on YouTube, but you're a doctor. You are a full-fledged doctor. Tell people about how did you even decide? Did you always want to be a doctor?
I did, either a doctor or a lawyer or a journalist, a television anchor. That was what I wanted to do. But I'll tell you, I got my real start. My father is a doctor. He's a retired general and peripheral vascular surgeon. He and all of his brothers are physicians and dentists, and their parents had no formal education. Okay, so my grandparents, I think, went to 6th grade and maybe 7th grade. And of course, being Black people raised in the South, they did not have the opportunity. But of course, they had the work ethic, the brains, and they pushed their children. And so I'm very proud of my family. And he is my biggest mentor as far as becoming a physician. But then also my mother, who was among the first generation of her family, she's one of 16 kids. She went to college, and she's more of that extrovert, speaker, personality kind of out there, kind of a person like that. And so I think I'm a little merger of the both, which is why I'm like my social mom who likes, media and mess and reality shows. And then I like the seriousness, the science, and, and being here on YouTube, I've had a chance to combine them both, where I can talk about all the things that, the reality shows and the mess, but then bring it on home in a serious, helpful aspect where we talk about health and things of that nature. But yeah, so, so I am an MD. I went to Meharry Medical College, which is an HBCU. Okay. Wow. Dr. Heavenly went there. They were there probably a little before me, but they went to my same medical college. And then afterwards, I did my residency at Georgetown University School of Medicine, where I did a dual internal medicine and pediatrics residency. And so then I went on to get board certifications and all those things. And then Atlanta at Emory's, where I completed my nephrology or kidney disease fellowship. And then just for fun, I went and studied obesity medicine. So I just got board certified with that. And so I do prescribe GLP-1s and do all those things. And I love medicine and mess.
And you are in Atlanta. Okay, before we even get to the medical stuff. Okay, I mean, it's still medical related. You do like the mess like we like the mess in regards to Married to Medicine. You're in Atlanta. Would you ever do like reality television like Married to Medicine?
I never say never, and I will share that I've back even before the show even started, they came over and I was interviewed and all of that. And let's get messy. My husband at the time, who is a physician, an ER physician, was like, no, absolutely not. And I'm like, why not? Our lives are open books. I later found out our lives weren't open books for other reasons. But anyway, I say that to say, I am friendly with a lot of the ladies on the show and have done community service projects with them. And the thing is, what sometimes doesn't get shown enough on the show is that these ladies are sharp, like really smart for real. They give to the community for real. And I know we love to talk about like Dr. Heavenly, how messy she is. When I tell you in person, like I took my daughter to one of the community fairs, so warm. And Dr. Contessa, and I did a panel, a heart health panel where I had Dr. Contessa on.
Yes.
And when I tell you that lady has brains for days, and watching her at the community fair. So when the cameras are on, of course, all the ladies are on, but even when the cameras are off, Dr. Contessa goes through, and we're in the community where they need us, like low income communities. She is talking to and treating the people like they're the most important people in the world. Like Dr. Contessa is the real deal as far as her warmness. And so that's the other side to the Married to Medicine, the non-messy side. They really are just great doctors. And I guess, you have to be dramatic for the show. Yeah. And but I say never say never, but
I mean, Lord, you spilled a little tea. I didn't even know that, Dr. Freda. I was like, wait a minute. Okay. But even without the show, you really built your own brand. And look, like I said, you have your own book. You have your own platform that has a nearly way more subscribers than Dr. Heavenly. I'm just saying. Look, I'm just saying. If you come to, but your YouTube channel isn't for mess. Your YouTube channel is talking about health, and that's why we're so excited to have you here. And today really is a medical day here on the channel. We just recapped Married to Medicine, and if you guys are just joining us, I'm here with Dr. Freda. I'm so excited about this conversation, and as I said before, Dr. Freda is going to have to come back because there's no way that we can cover everything in this medical hour here on the channel. Okay, Dr. Freda. So let's first start off with, because a lot of your content, not only are you teaching us about what's going on when it comes to health, you're teaching us along with the hot topics of what's currently on in the news. Billy Porter recently said, which I need to know your thoughts on him saying that he was dead for 3 days.
Oh, I'll tell you.
Yeah, because he apparently had a UTI, which I didn't realize. I know men can get it, but that's not common, right?
The urinary tract infection part is more common in women. Yeah. Kidney stones are more common in men. And if a kidney stone blocks your urine flow, then it can lead to an infection. And that's what happened with Billy Porter.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then he ended up getting sepsis.
Yes.
What? Okay. Yes, I know some of y'all in the chat know what everything is, but I want to break things down for people that do not. Can you explain exactly what happened with Billy Porter and what sepsis is?
Okay. And I love listening to Billy Porter because he's such a good storyteller, and he's clearly quite bright because he gets it just right, the way that he describes what happens. So he had a kidney stone, which is literally a rock that forms in your kidneys. And so when different minerals, particles join together, they can form a stone in the kidney. For him, and for most people, the kidney stone will start to pass or can pass on its own. When stones are less than 2 millimeters, they're 95% likely to pass on their own. But if they get stuck, then that's the problem. And he described his kidney stone as getting stuck in his urethra. So your urethra is the tube that connects to your bladder to the outside world. Okay. So in men, it's the tube that goes through the male organ. And you can imagine if a stone gets stuck there, then all of your urine gets backed up. And in his case, the urine was backed up And when you have a backup of urine, it gets stagnant, it gets stale. Bacteria can just sit there and multiply because you're not urinating the bacteria out. And so that's what happened in him. He described them doing a procedure to kind of try to get the stone and break up the stone. And they found all kinds of pus and infection. And what can happen with a urinary tract infection is that the infection can then leave the kidneys and seep into your bloodstream and cause an overwhelming infection. And when he says he was dead for 3 days on an ECMO machine, like a heart bypass machine, he's not exaggerating or being dramatic. That means that he had cardiopulmonary failure, like his body was depending on machines, not just a breathing machine, but a machine to help his heart pump, which means if your heart doesn't work and your lungs don't work and you have shock, like you have very low blood pressure, then essentially you're completely being kept alive artificially. And so that's what it sounds like he means. He was on literal life support for at least 3 days.
I need to know this. There had to be some sort of like symptoms that he was experiencing that he may have been just not paying attention to.
Very likely, because people are too busy to get sick. And it happens to a lot of us who are professional, who have things to do, who have jobs, who have kids, we're busy. We don't have time to be sick. And you can kind of foo-foo away a lot of symptoms. But I'll tell you the likely symptoms that you have when you have a kidney stone and urinary tract infection. So I'll start with the kidney stone. With a kidney stone, it's usually flank pain or low back pain, and it often radiates or shoots to the groin as the kidney tries to move. You can also get blood in your urine. And it might not be bright red blood. It might be little drips of blood or something that looks orange or even dark. But blood in the urine can happen as well with the kidney stone. And then if the kidney stone causes blockage and leads to a urinary tract infection, then the UTI symptoms will be fever, chills, fatigue. And if you do manage to pass urine, it will be likely cloudy and really foul smelling. I highly doubt that he had no symptoms, but we know that he does Broadway and he directs.
He was on Broadway at the time.
He was on Broadway at the time. And so just think about all the things that can cause a fever. You might be like, oh, maybe it's a little cold. Let me go take a little vitamin C. And then if you're fatigued, I mean, everything can fatigue you, including being on Broadway. Denial is so powerful. I find that some of my most intelligent patients will do the darndest things. And it's not because of lack of intelligence, it's denial, because you just don't have time to deal with the reality of being sick.
Yeah. And the other element here and this is where I can bring the tea, is that he's on Broadway having money issues. This is a big moment for him to return to Broadway. He might really feel like something is going on with him, but he's like, I can't cancel Broadway right now because I have to work.
Yep. And especially if you know you're sick and you go to the hospital, you might be like, if I go to the ER, they're going to admit me, which means you know how sick you are. And so I'm just thankful that he lived to tell the story. Yeah.
Most definitely. Guys, you're just joining us. I'm here with Dr. Freda. All of Dr. Freda's information, including her recent interview with Dr. Contessa about heart health, will be available in the description. It is Kidney Disease Awareness Month, and that's part of the reason why we brought Dr. Freda here. What are some of the things in regards to if you do have kidney stones, or like what should we be doing as a people when it comes to that?
So for kidney stones, it's interesting because yes, some people can have somewhat of a genetic predisposition, but most of the time kidney stones can be really, really preventable, because one of the biggest risk factors for kidney stones, like the one Billy Porter had, dehydration. I mentioned that the way that you get a kidney stone is when different particles and chemicals in your urine, when they find each other and stick together. But if you're very well hydrated and you have an excellent kidney flow or urine flow, then those particles have a hard time finding each other. And so that's really just a big risk factor, dehydration. The other thing is that the most common type of kidney stone is a calcium oxalate stone. And so if you have a diet that is very, very high in oxalate, that can increase your risk. So what has oxalate? A bunch of healthy things, like spinach is high in oxalate. Certain teas, like certain green teas, are high in oxalate. Kale, rhubarb, if anyone likes rhubarb, that's high in oxalate. Beets, which are also very healthy, high in oxalate. Dark chocolate, high in oxalate.
Ooh, okay, that's more our speed.
Okay, yeah. But so if you're someone who actually has had kidney stones, then you want to make sure you're hydrated, and you will have to likely limit the oxalate that you're on. So also having a low sodium diet can help. And I mentioned that there are different types of stones. For some people who have gout, if gout, GOUT, if you heard of someone with gout, they can get uric acid stones. And so making sure you manage your gout, that'll help you as well. And so, yeah, but kidney stones, I find that for my patients who stick to an excellent hydration, most of the time they're able to dodge the kidney stones.
What are some symptoms of dehydration? Because I feel like that is so like there are a lot of us walking around thirsty, but no, a
Yeah,
lot
we
of us
do.
walking
It's
around thirsty,
thirsty.
but dehydration, and that is such a big thing, especially now that the warmer months are upon us. So that's even bigger issue. And we'll talk about some of hydration when we talk about other things a little bit later on. But what are some symptoms of dehydration?
So here's the thing. By the time you feel thirsty, you're
Mm.
already very dehydrated. And I can tell you as a kidney doctor, your kidneys are already feeling it. And so the key is to stay hydrated to the point where you don't feel symptoms. But symptoms include, so yes, of course, thirst, dry mouth, and also some of the signs and symptoms would be if your skin has a poor turgor, meaning that, so normally if you like pinch your skin, it should be supple and it should just pop back into place. But
Okay, Stan.
if you
All
okay,
right.
if you pinch it and you see a tinting, like if it forms almost like a little like triangle or tinting, that's a sign that you're pretty bad in your dehydration. If you have a dry tongue where the indentations of your teeth are on the sides of your tongue, that means that
Oh, I've seen people with that.
mm, you're dehydrated. You're dehydrated. And then, of course, you can feel lightheaded if it gets to a point. You can have a low blood pressure and a fast heart rate if you're dehydrated. But yeah, the key is staying ahead of the game because by the time you even feel thirst, you're already behind. And dehydration is a big cause of kidney failure. Yeah. And of course, it's Kidney Disease Awareness Month. I see it all of the time, and people don't realize it.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right. We're gonna get back to talking about the kidney in just a second, guys. As we're doing that, don't forget to like today's video. I'm here with my special guest, Dr. Frida. You know we love a good doctor here on the channel, and Dr. Frida already has agreed to come back. So because there's so many, and I love watching your videos because I feel like there's where both our worlds come together in regards to pop culture news and someone's health. And that's why we're always talking about health here on the channel, because I always tell you guys, you can have the love of your life, you can have the money, you can have the fame, you can have all those things. But if you don't have your health, it really is the equalizer when it comes to all of us. It doesn't matter who you are in the world. If you don't have your health, then what do you have exactly? You know?
Exactly. People say health is wealth. Maybe it's cliche, but it's the absolute truth. Because by the time you get to that point, all the money in the world can't help you. Yeah, if you haven't put in the work and taken care of your body and respected your temple,
Mm,
along the way.
yeah, most definitely. Ray J. Speaking of respecting your body, I feel and we don't even know half of what Ray J probably has taken in or consumed. He recently revealed that he doesn't even think that he's going to make it to 2027 after a diagnosis from his doctor that his heart is functioning at 60%, 25% of his heart is black. I don't even know what that means, Dr. Frida. What
Yeah.
does that mean?
Okay. So Ray J, and I have love for Ray J. When he
Do
first
you?
came out, I do have love for Ray J. Now he's done some problematic things, some very domestically problematic things around Thanksgiving. But just overall, I think about his life, the fast life that he had when he was far too young. He shares certain things, like about his nanny or babysitter having an inappropriate relationship. I feel
Mm,
like he's just got so much trauma. But specifically talking about the heart, when he first came out with it, I was like, is he playing? Please be playing. But now
yeah,
his mother, Mrs.
yeah.
Sonia Norwood has come out and confirmed 100% he has the heart issue. And so as far as 60%, 25%, I'll tell you what it sounds like those numbers mean. And his mother actually provided a great bit of clarification.
Mhm.
So he has cardiomyopathy. His cardiomyopathy, heart failure. What happens with cardiomyopathy is that the muscles of the heart are stretched in a way where the heart does not beat properly. It doesn't beat strongly enough. And so if your heart is not pumping or beating properly, then you can't get off the blood flow and the oxygen to the rest of your body and to your organs.
Mm,
And in his case, when he first came out, he said that his heart was beating at 25%. His mom made it more clear. He said that when she saw him, she was told that his heart was actually functioning between 15 and 20%.
Ooh.
Okay. So that number that she's describing is the ejection fraction, or EF. It is normal. The EF describes the percentage of blood that is pumped out of your heart with each contraction. And normal is anywhere between 50 and 70% in order for you to function properly. She said that his was at a 15 to 20%, which is severely diminished. If your heart is not pumping out enough blood with each contraction, then you get a backup. And that's why people with congestive heart failure will often have swollen feet, swollen legs, swollen ankles. They'll get fluid backed up in their lungs and be very short of breath. And ultimately, as the congestive heart failure progresses, and if you have these really stretched out muscles from the cardiomyopathy, then your heart can go into abnormal heart rhythms, and that can increase your risk for a sudden cardiac death. And so that is extreme for him to have 15%, 20%, or even 25%, as he described. And by the time he shared, it may have increased to 25%. And so this is extremely serious. Yeah.
I want to highlight this comment because I was going to ask you about this, because I think when people hear heart failure, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm dying, kind of thing. Missy here says, my mom had heart failure. She lived for 18 years on a 3% injection fracture.
Okay. So
go ahead.
Yeah. So I can't stand the term congestive heart failure, because you're right. When you hear congestive heart failure, if something fails, it's over. It doesn't work. Good night. But that's not the case. It's just an extreme term to describe a heart that's not beating as properly as it should. And so just like what Missy has shared, you can live actually a long life with CHF, congestive heart failure, especially if it's caught early and if you receive the proper treatments. For example, even if you present with a really low ejection fraction like Ray J, you have to go back and look at what caused the congestive heart failure or what caused the low ejection fraction. And if you can reverse or treat many of those causes, it can help. So what are some causes? Well, excessive alcohol use. And Ray J's been open about this. He said he would drink bottles of alcohol a night, like not just a bunch of drinks or shots. He described bottles. He said that out of his mouth. He also talked about using Addies, which I assume is Adderall, and taking excessive amounts of Adderall, like for focus, for ADHD, that can cause heart issues. Some other things that can cause cardiomyopathy would certainly be certain substances like white powder, white pony. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about. Things that you snort.
The bogus sugars that we like to call it.
Okay. Yeah. And so that can cause you to have very high blood pressure, which if your heart is having to pump against high blood pressure, that's going to fatigue those muscles, cause them to be weak. And so if someone's using those substances, that can lead to heart failure. Also, there are certain congenital situations that can do it. You can be born with things that can cause heart failure. Certain viral infections, C19 from the lockdown, that virus itself can cause a cardiomyopathy. And there's other things, Coxsackie virus, things of that nature. And then having heart disease, like heart artery disease. And even though Ray J has that baby face, he is in his 40s. So if he's someone who has high cholesterol, high blood pressure, I don't know if he does or not, but that can cause you to have an increased risk for a blockage of heart arteries. And then, so having heart disease in that sense can increase your risk for congestive heart failure. And so as far as being able to reverse the kidney function, reverse the heart function, even if you can't reverse it 100%, stopping the alcohol, stopping the substance use, stopping doing, the Adderall, things of that nature can help. Plus we have medications that can help the heart to pump better, medications that can help to get rid of excess fluid. And so lifestyle along with medications can help someone like your member to have a higher ejection fraction and to live a longer and full life. So yes, the word congestive heart failure does not mean that he's out of here like he shared when he first came out.
And for those that are just joining us, I did post a link to the recent American Heart collab that you did with Dr. Contessa and a bunch of really amazing other doctors. So you guys can watch that. That was a recent episode on Dr. Freda's YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe to that as well. The most important thing that stood out to me, and I talk about this a lot here on the channel, is people actually going to the doctor. My live show on Friday, I was like, guys, this is a reminder, go to the doctor, schedule that mammogram. In order to prevent some of this stuff, a physical blood work regularly could help a person prevent some of this stuff. Would you agree, Dr. Freda?
100%. A lot of people will ask me, oh my gosh, Dr. Freda, how will we know we have kidney disease? How do we know when to check? When you go to your primary care doctor, every single time when they do a full blood work panel, they're checking to see if you have kidney disease. Okay. And when you go to that doctor and they're doing that history and that physical, they, whether you realize it or not, are sitting there clocking your risk factors for heart disease. They're checking for your family history. They're trying to see if you have a sedentary lifestyle. They're
Mm.
asking you about foods. Are you eating a bunch of animal meat proteins? Are you eating a bunch of ultra processed foods? They'll ask you about your activities. Are you out of breath when you walk a block, 2 blocks? All of those things are ways that you can find out your risk factors when they check your cholesterol. So start by just seeing your doctor. And it's hard because a lot of us will do everything for everyone else. Make sure your parents are together, your siblings, this person, that person. But when it comes to your own health, it's easy to just be in denial or to not want to hear it. Okay.
Yeah.
It's easy to not want to hear it, but you have to face the music because a lot of things can be picked up early and then be prevented or at least treated or detected at an early stage.
Most definitely, most definitely. I do want to highlight. Thank you so much, Missy, for the super chat. Missy says, "My mom was diagnosed with diabetes and she was stressed. No drugs."
Okay. Oh yes. Yeah. Most people who have heart failure, drugs, that's not the number one cause. The number
Mm.
one cause is going to be things like heart disease, and diabetes is a very high risk factor for heart disease. So is high blood pressure. So yeah.
Mm.
So the drugs is just another one of the causes, but definitely diabetes is a huge risk factor. Yeah.
Speaking of high blood pressure, you wrote a book. You wrote a
Yeah.
book,
Yes.
Under
Yes.
Pressure, a guide in regards to blood pressure. Can we talk a little bit about blood pressure and why that's important for us to even know those numbers? And again, to me, I'm making, I don't think I'm making this up, but it really is like a silent killer for people walking around with high blood pressure and not realizing it.
It's absolutely a silent killer. High blood pressure is so common. Almost half of the adults in the United States have high blood pressure, and well under half have it under control. And
Mm.
that's because you oftentimes have no symptoms when you have high blood pressure. And the body is a beautiful thing because it will compensate and adjust and make you not have symptoms after you've had high blood pressure for a while. But even if you don't have symptoms, the high blood pressure is working on your brain, working on your heart, working on your kidneys. High blood pressure is the number 2 cause of people ending up in my dialysis chair with kidney
Mm.
failure. Okay. And of course, it puts you at high risk for heart disease and things of that nature. The important thing in knowing those numbers is, again, you might not have symptoms when the numbers are high, but if your top number, the systolic blood pressure, is 130 or higher, or if that diastolic number, the diastolic blood pressure is 80 or higher, that's high blood pressure, 130 over 80. And a lot of people are going to listen. They're going, no, my blood pressure, 140s is good for me, or 150s runs
Mm.
in my family, but that's
Not
just
what
because
50 runs in your family. No.
I've heard it all. They'll say it, or they'll say, oh yeah, high blood pressure runs in my family. We all got it. But guess what? The other thing that runs in families, salt shakers and frying pans. A lot of
Mm.
it is lifestyle modification. And here's something that's really important. When people find out they have high blood pressure and perhaps, they're prescribed medicine, they might feel sick and they say, oh, I'm allergic to the medicine. Well, the thing is, once your body has gotten used to a super high blood pressure, it takes time to adjust to the pressure coming down. And you might feel lightheaded or sick for the first couple of weeks on a medicine. But if you're able to stick it out and allow your body to get to normal blood pressure, you'll feel better. A lot of people don't know that and they'll stop a medicine.
Mm.
The other thing, some blood pressure medicines can cause problems with the love life. They can cause the
Oh,
sexual
no.
dysfunction. But we've got tricks for that. And I have certain medicines I prescribe purposefully to my men to try to avoid it. And I have very open conversations. I say, if you start getting a side effect, tell me, I don't want to interfere with your love life, and we'll come up with something else. It's important to be honest with your doctor and don't just stop a medicine because of a side effect. Have the
Most definitely.
conversation.
Most definitely.
Mhm.
And that goes back to what I was saying in regards to going to the doctor. One of the things that I've learned about my own body is that at a certain weight, my blood pressure is affected. And I only discovered that from, first of all, a couple of things. Shout out to when I used to work corporate America and they did those little health fairs. That
Mhm.
I was walking around with high blood pressure. I was like 20 something years old and didn't realize it. I was like, oh
Wow.
my goodness, I gotta lose some weight. So that's when I first learned that. I was like, oh no, I know at a certain weight, that is my ideal weight to make sure that everything in regards to my blood work comes back normal. So that's why y'all see me have dropped some weight, because I was like, I know I can't, especially now at 40 something years old. I
It's
have to get that under control because I want to be here for you guys.
I'm glad you brought that up about the weight, because that's a little known fact. I talk about it in my book. Because yes, I talk about medicines and traditional ways to treat blood pressure. I also talk about holistic ways, natural ways, lifestyle modification. And we have studies to show us that for every 5 pounds of weight you lose, your blood pressure can drop 5 to 15 points, 5 to 15 millimeters mercury, little known fact. And so, of course, your cholesterol numbers can get better also. Your blood sugar numbers can get better also. So losing weight is not just about, trying to look fine as wine and being swimsuit ready. It really is for the health, getting to a healthy weight. Yeah.
I think a lot of people, I'm not trying to lose weight for nobody but myself, y'all. That's the one thing. I go to my doctor regularly, and I always talk about when I go to my doctor, and I tell you guys, go to the doctor, because I know you're probably scared of what they're about to tell you. A lot of times it's a lot more scary in your head than what they actually end up telling you.
And then whether you hear it from your doctor or not, if you have a disease or if you have a disorder, it's there whether you know it or not. So you might as well know it, face the music, and do something about it. Yeah.
Amen. Especially as Black people.
Especially,
Because we see it all the time. I just want to, I see we have a couple of questions in here. His Bookie Bear says, what is your advice to a 50-plus-year-old man that just won't get a physical? Because this is causing a no-go for me. His sick mom won't accept care and seeing the same thing from him.
50 is very grown. It's very grown. So all you can do is lead with love, lead with advice. But you already know, as my mama says, you can't raise grown people. I would talk to that 50-something-year-old man and let him know, in the big scheme of things, he's still relatively young. I would also let him know about heart disease being a #1 killer. But if you catch it early or catch risk factors early, you can actually save a life. And I would find out what his issue is. Like, why aren't you going to the doctor? Has he had a bad experience? Does he distrust physicians? Which we know there's a lot of medical distrust, especially in the Black community. But I would first try to get to the root of the problem. And then I would talk about how him being alive is not just for him, but him being alive and having a good quality of life is also for the people he cares about. If he's caring for other people, he can't be a caretaker if he's not around. And also, I would tell him another real true fact. Just because you don't go to the doctor and just because you don't want to find out what's going on, if it happens, if something happens to you like a heart attack or a stroke, it won't necessarily take you out. It might leave you here debilitated. Okay. You might have a stroke where you're still alive, but you cannot enjoy life in the way that you used to. And so you might as well go and find out what's going on and find a doctor you trust. Yeah.
And for those that automatically think too, because I know we talked a little bit about weight. We just saw Jay Alexander from America's Next Top Model, skinny as can be, and had a stroke.
Yes. And I don't know his particular reason, but high blood pressure is a very high risk factor, high cholesterol, family history. And of course, stress can contribute to these things as well. Diabetes, you can be skinny and have diabetes, skinny with high cholesterol. If you have a poor diet, lots of ultra processed foods. I don't know his reason, but you're right. Just because you're skinny and you look healthy doesn't mean you're healthy. So you have to go get your numbers checked out by your doctor.
That blood work, I'm telling you, that's the trick. Doris says, what blood pressure machine is best to purchase for home use?
Oh, okay. And I'll tell you, if you go to my website, drfreda.com, I have my favorite things. And the blood pressure cuffs that I like the best are the ones that are on the upper arm, not the wrist. Now, the wrist is better than nothing if you have a wrist cuff. And if you do have a wrist cuff, I suggest that you get it calibrated. So you can go to your local fire station. Listen, all the firemen hate me because I tell people that is a service that your fire department provides. So check your blood pressure.
I know that.
Yes. Okay. Now they're all really going to be mad at me.
It's okay. The fire department guys near me are cute.
Okay, going up there with your blood pressure cuff and just tell you what it is. But so the wrist, of course, is better than nothing. But really, the upper arm cuffs are going to be the more accurate ones. And you can get ones off of different online sites. You can get an electric one, so you don't necessarily have to know how to pump it up the old-fashioned way. You can press a button. The key is knowing how to check your pressure properly.
Yeah.
So make sure that the blood pressure cuff is the right size. If the blood pressure cuff is too tight, it can give you a falsely elevated blood pressure. And good and well, a lot of folks got big arms, so you might need a thigh cuff or an extra large cuff. And because they'll tell you the size inside. Like they'll tell you how many centimeters or inches your arm should be. And they're talking about the measurement around the belly part of your arm. Like you take a little string and measure it, or a measuring tape. And you also want to make sure that when you check your blood pressure, you're sitting down with your legs uncrossed. Crossed legs will give you a falsely elevated blood pressure. You want your feet to be flat on the ground, sitting upright, and you want to check your blood pressure when your arm is at the level of your heart. If your arm is dangling, it'll give you a falsely elevated blood pressure. But yeah, the upper arm cuff and one that you can press. There are different companies, but yeah, if you check out my website, I'll tell you my favorite ones that I
And
like.
we'll be posting that in the description as well. That's really good information that you just shared in regards to it. Thank you guys for the questions. We're gonna pay some bills and we'll be right back with our special guest. Dr. Frida is in the building, guys. Don't forget to like the video. When I first started Kempire Radio 15 plus years ago, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. 15 years later, now artificial intelligence has taken over and it's making your website building so easy. I'm excited to partner with Wix for today's live because Wix was the very first website that I ever used. And even back then, they made it easy. So you can imagine 15 years ago versus 2026, Wix is making it even easier with AI. So there are a couple of really cool things that you can do with Wix. With the hybrid website editor that offers the speed of AI, precision of drag and drop, and guidance of a dedicated AI agent, aka the new way to create websites. And you don't have to pay anyone to do this. You could do this yourself. Create in whatever way feels most natural to you with a platform that lets you flow freely between AI and manual controls. Because some people just let AI do whatever they want, and that is not what you want. You want to be able to do and create something that's unique to you. As I said to you before, you can launch a pro-grade website that's quality, but make it very easy for you to create. There are all kinds of really cool capabilities that they provide. Wix Harmony is packed with some of the coolest, most useful AI features and agents built specifically for small businesses. Generate images, product descriptions, blogs, and more. Automate email marketing, SEO tasks, inventory management, and more. You even get an AI agent named Aria who can help you build your website or take care of business. Wix has been on top of AI for years, so naturally, they're the ones introducing the new way to create websites. Try Wix Harmony for free at wix.com/harmony. That's wix.com/harmony. More details on that will be available in the description. And we're back. We're back with Dr. Frida talking about, and of course, it's Kidney Disease Awareness Month. So, of course, we had to bring Dr. Frida here to talk about that. Before we move on, we did have a question. Paula, thank you so much for the super chat. Paula says, how do we handle perimenopause and weight gain? Any tips?
Oh my goodness. Can I tell you, perimenopause is just like the biggest nightmare. So first, when we talk about perimenopause, we're talking about the years leading up to actually going into menopause. And menopause is when a woman or someone who's born a woman has gone 12 consecutive months with no menstrual cycle. It has to be 12 consecutive months. And after that, you're postmenopausal. So with perimenopause, of course, there are fluctuations in hormones. And it is true, it is not in your head. There tends to be weight gain in specific areas like belly fat. And so the best thing to do is to consult with your doctor, consult with your GYN, your gynecologist, to talk about hormone replacement therapy, if that's something that would be best for you, because having the proper estrogen, proper progesterone balance is something that can be helpful. Of course, proper lifestyle, diet, exercise, drinking plenty of water, and exercising will help. But the perimenopause situation is real. There's hormone changes, and you do tend to gain weight, many women, specifically in the belly.
Women go through it. God bless
All the
you.
way, take me through there. Women go through it. It's true. It's true.
OMG. Lord. Okay. Bethenny Frankel, for those that are just joining us, we're here with Dr. Frida. She is, she covers, of course, all of this on her channel between the pop culture and the medical side of things. But of course, she is a quadruple board certified doctor. So take that, Married to Medicine. Bethenny Frankel recently opened up about being diagnosed with stage 2 chronic kidney disease. Okay, I didn't even realize that there were stages to kidney disease. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. And let me tell you, I appreciate Bethenny because, we first met her on Real Housewives of New York. She was doing yoga. She was skinny girl. She's telling us how to eat. in a healthy manner, if you want to be her size, if that is your desire. And so health has been something on the forefront. So for her to come to us being slim, relatively young with CKD and introducing it to people, I really appreciate her for using her platform. So there are 5 stages to CKD, chronic kidney disease. And we call it chronic kidney disease if you've had a decrease in your kidney function for at least 3 months. That's when we call it chronic. So stage 1 is the best. Stage 5 is when you're actually eligible for dialysis or a transplant. So when she first came out, she shared that she had stage 2. And the way to know if you have stage 2 is to look at your lab. So if you just pull out your labs, go to your My Chart, even right now, you can look at your EGFR, estimated glomerular filtration rate. If it is less than 90, and it's been that way for at least 3 months, then you have CKD. And I don't want anyone to freak out if theirs is less than 90, because if it's at stage 2, like what Bethenny's was, that means that it's between 60 and 89, and that's a very early stage. Oftentimes there are things you can do to reverse it, to get better, but it is important to see your doctor to figure out what. If you go to stage 3, that's when the EGFR is between 30 and 59, and that starts to get more serious. And if you're looking at your labs right now and your EGFR is less than 60, talk to your primary doctor, because that's when it's standard of care to be referred to a kidney doctor like me, because that is when things are a little more serious and you are at risk of progressing to outright end-stage kidney failure. And you might also have things like high blood pressure, electrolyte abnormalities, things of that nature. Stage 4 is the next stage, and the EGFR is between 15 and 29. And then if your EGFR is less than 15, you're eligible for dialysis or a transplant. And I'm sure that lots of people right now who took a look at their My Chart, you might see that your EGFR is less than 90, meaning you have at best CKD stage 2. And so as over 35 million Americans have kidney disease. Most don't even know it. Yeah. And when Bethenny went back for her follow-up, she has CKD stage 3 on the follow-up. So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And there's lots of causes. The number 1 cause is diabetes, of kidney failure. Number 2 cause is high blood pressure. Dehydration is a big one. She shares that she oftentimes dehydrated. She also shared that she had been through like an allergic reaction, anaphylactic shock, which could have put her in a situation. Certain medications can increase your risk. If you're someone who's in chronic pain, you take a lot of NSAIDs, the nonsteroidals like ibuprofen, Motrin, naproxen, meloxicam, Celebrex. If you're taking a lot of those medications, then that could put you at risk for kidney disease.
Wow.
There are genetic reasons as well. Tracy Morgan had diabetes and had to get a kidney transplant for that. Yeah, there's a lot.
Which is interesting, because I know, because I'm on PrEP, my doctor is always checking my kidney function.
Yeah.
So that, but this again goes back to what we were saying. You have to go to the doctor. You have to get your blood work. But not all doctors are the same. You should also double check exactly what Dr. Freda said in regards to your kidney function yourself. And if there is a concern, bring it up to your doctor. I love going to my doctor and having a list, because when you're in there with depending on how good your doctor is or not so good your doctor is, you might forget. You might be overwhelmed with what they're sharing with you. Go in with a list. Wait, doctor, I got more. I have questions. That's your moment to speak with your doctor, but you have to first go get to the doctor.
Yes, that's really good advice, having that list and being your own advocate, because the truth of the matter is the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And please, when you have your questions, don't wait and pull out the list when you see your doctor headed out the door. I'm telling you, especially my men patients, they love me reaching for the door handle and they'd be like, wait, doc, can I get some of that Viagra? They want to start that conversation. I'm like, I'm out the door now. You should have said that so I could ask you some questions. So tell your doctor you have questions at the beginning of the visit, and it'll maximize your doctor's visit.
Most definitely. Cutie asked the question, does smoking contribute to kidney disease?
Yes. Let me tell you about smoking. And yes, I am hype and I'm all the way live. If you look at the risk factor for just about any disease, you're going to be smoking. And I'm specifically talking about smoking, tobacco, cigarettes. Smoking can put you at risk for kidney disease. Smoking puts you at risk for kidney cancer. Smoking, of course, puts you at risk for lung disease, COPD, emphysema. Smoking puts you at risk for lung cancer, cervical cancer. Smoking puts you at risk for heart disease. Smoking puts you at risk for having strokes. Smoking is on the risk factor of just about every single disease. So if you're someone and you quit smoking, you can decrease your risk, your morbidity, your mortality by a lot. And even if you're just getting started, If you can smoke less than 10 cigarettes a day, then already that is a clinically significant decrease in your risk factors, even if you have to start there. But
People
if
are
that,
smoking 10 cigarettes a day?
yeah, I don't want you to smoke that, but say you smoke
Yeah.
a pack a day or 2 a day, even if you cut back to less than 10, it will give a significant decrease in your risk. 0, of course, is the goal. But yes,
Wow.
smoking can increase your risk for
The
everything.
the other element, backtracking to Bethenny, I know Bethenny, she likes to drink. She had a whole brand, Skinny Girl Margarita. That also dehydrates you too, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So when you are drinking alcohol, it has a substance that causes you to make more urine. Okay. It inhibits your ADH, so you make more urine. And so when people are drinking alcohol and they're not balancing it and drinking water, then they will definitely be dehydrated. Dehydration can lead to something called pre-renal azotemia, which can lead to kidney failure. And so, of course, now we used to recommend a safe amount of alcohol, or there's no longer a recommendation for safe alcohol, because even moderate alcohol can increase your risk for different health issues. But if
Mm.
you do choose to drink and you and your doctor have a conversation and you decide what's moderate for you, make sure that you balance it with drinking water, because yes, alcohol in and of itself can dehydrate you and increase your risk for kidney failure.
Wow. Regal Creek asks, when a PCP does a full blood panel, what exactly is that?
Yes, it varies, but in general, they at least will do a BMP, basic metabolic panel, where they check your electrolytes, like your sodium, your potassium, your chloride, your carbon dioxide. And that BMP does include kidney labs. So your BUN, your creatinine, also your blood sugar. So that is very basic, BMP. And they will also often check your blood count, a CBC, complete blood count, where they can find out if you're anemic, what your white blood cells are, your platelets. So that's the very basic. And they can get deeper than that, and they can do liver tests. But for that, make sure you have the conversation with your doctor. Ask, hey, what tests are you checking? Hey, will you also check my liver test? Will you check my hemoglobin A1C to see if I'm at risk for diabetes? Will you check my cholesterol? You have to have those conversations to be sure.
Vitamin D, especially within the Black community, seems, Black people largely are deficient in it. But it also seems like it's a hard thing to get tested for because it's not on your basic, blood test.
Mm-hmm. You have. I'm glad you said that, and that's where having the knowledge is power. And so when people come to my Dr. Frida YouTube, my main goal is to give everyone access to the proper questions to ask. Because you're right, if you don't ask to have your vitamin D checked, it might not be. But the vitamin D level, we know it's important, not just for healthy bones, because vitamin D helps you to absorb calcium in your intestines, which helps you to have good, strong bones and things like that nature. But we now know that vitamin D is also important to have a good immune system. Okay.
Mhm.
And there are different ways. Of course, through the diet, you can get vitamin D. And through the skin converts sunlight to vitamin D. The problem is that if you have really pale skin, then you do a great job of converting sunlight to vitamin D. But if you have a melanin rich skin, then you tend to have a lower vitamin D. And so, yes, many people, specifically Black people or people with dark skin, will be vitamin D deficient. And so it's important to ask your doctor to check your vitamin D level, because just getting the over the counter vitamin D, that's good to help to maintain a good vitamin D level. But if you have a severe deficiency in vitamin D, then there are stronger prescription vitamin Ds that will be recommended to get you up to par. Yeah.
Mm. Brenda asked the question, any advice for a mom dealing with a UPJ obstruction and MAG3 and follow up after stent on the 24th of this month? I'm not sure if I
Okay.
understand.
Now, of course, now what I'm telling you here is for general information,
Yes.
and what I say is not going to replace the advice of your doctor. But what I will say, if you're having this type of, if you've had the proper studies and you've had the blockage, and I imagine they probably have already talked to you about the different options and the stents and how often you need to change the stent and things of that nature. The best advice that I can give you is to just continue to talk with your urologist and your nephrologist. And if you're not feeling like you're getting all of your questions answered, then ask for a second opinion. It is not an insult, or it shouldn't be an insult to a highly qualified doctor to get a second opinion. I'm never offended by a second opinion, because I know even if someone else has a different perspective, I know that I haven't told my patient anything that's wrong. And
Mm.
so clearly you're seeing the specialist because you know what those things are. But if you're not getting all of your questions answered, then seek a second opinion. and then if they say the same thing, go right back. But yeah, but make sure that you're doing all the things, you're drinking enough water, you're having a healthy diet and lifestyle. But yeah, that's really going to be something an answer best by the person who's done an actual physical on you and who knows all of your numbers. Yeah.
Meaning go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor. Go to
Go
the
to
doctor. Yeah.
Dr. Frida. This was not on my list of questions, but I thought about it because do you watch Real Housewives of Potomac?
Yes, I did.
Did you see the reunion with Karen Huger, that last part?
Oh, yes, yes. And I think I mostly saw highlights of it, but so I saw her when she did her initial
Mhm.
interview with Andy
Yes.
Cohen, and then I saw the second part, and I also saw a lot of semantics and words and descriptions. Yeah, what were you gonna say about it? Yeah, I saw
Well,
her.
a lot of people were asking, and I think she's been doing this for a while now, the mouth movements that she makes. So some people have just been speculating for a variety of different reasons what it could possibly be. But one of the speculations is maybe some of the medication that she might be taking, because she did reveal during that interview that she was taking antidepressants. She also talked about when she got into the accident, she had increased her medication along with the drinking. What were your thoughts on some of that?
Yeah, and of course, I don't know. I'm not her doctor,
Of
and
course,
so
yeah.
I won't speculate on her specifically, but I will say in general, when someone is having certain mouth movements, or maybe even tongue movements, or a face that seems like it could be twisting, if you're on certain medications, antidepressants, or even antipsychotic medications, it can cause you to have something called tardive dyskinesia. I'm not saying that's what she has,
Yeah.
but there are medications, mental health medications that can cause that, where you get these movements that are not purposeful. And we have medications that can reverse the side effect of the medications. And it gets, we start going down a rabbit hole.
Mm,
Also, if you are someone who has had alcohol dependence, and I know that Karen seems there's certain words that she
mm,
likes versus other ones as far as how she describes herself. So I'll
yeah.
just take her out of the picture and say, for the general population, for someone who has alcohol dependence, if they are withdrawing from the alcohol, which would just happen just if you used it recently, like within the 72 hours, in order to start having those withdrawals, then you can get certain movements. If you've been off of the alcohol and you've been clean and sober for a while, as she shares that she has, I wouldn't expect a withdrawal to give you any symptoms. But if you've had any setbacks and some binge drinking, and then you're within that 72-hour window, then you could have, certain mouth movements. Again, I'm not saying that about Karen, but just talking
Yeah.
about in general. And also, then there's other things that have nothing to do with substance that can cause you to have certain movement issues. If you were someone who had multiple sclerosis or some other type of a neurological disorder, it can cause it. So there are a million things that can do it. And so I certainly don't know what it would be for Karen.
For Karen. It just popped in my head and I wanted to ask you about it. Guys, if you're just joining us, I'm here with Dr. Frida. As I said before, all of her information will be available in the description. You can learn about her book, you can learn about her YouTube channel and her socials in regards to some of the hot topics that she associates with some of the medical news that's happening. Dr. Frida, I have to pick your brain on weight loss. But before we do that, our proud sponsor of today are from Roe. I know you're probably tired of hearing people say, new year, new me. However, it can be a new year and a new you. Everyone is trying to get back into the gym. They're trying to do some weight loss things. You may have also heard of GLP-1s. Well, our friends over at Roe has gotten you covered with the new GLP-1 pill. The pill is a new, more convenient and approachable way to GLP-1s if you've been thinking about it. A self-administered shot can be a bit intimidating. But now there's a pill that delivers comparable results. If you've been thinking about getting on a GLP-1, Roe might be the way to do it. They have 100% online care, access to clinically proven, FDA-approved medications, free insurance checks, side effects management, dosing support, and more. Roe offers the first FDA-approved GLP-1 pill for weight loss at the lowest cost around. The new GLP-1 pill has the same weight loss ingredient as the shot and packs comparable results to the shot. It can help patients lose 14% of their body weight in a year on average. This is based on a study in non-diabetics with obesity or overweight plus a weight-related condition with diet and exercise. You may have also seen Serena Williams talk about collaborating and endorsing Roe as well. As a world-class athlete, she also wanted to drop pounds after having children. If I had needed this particular option, this is what I would use. A pill versus a shot? Why not? Go to ro.co/Kempire to see if you're eligible for the new GLP-1 pill on Roe. That's ro.co/Kempire to get started on Roe. Go to ro.co/safety for box warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medication. More details on your discount and more will be available in the description. So, Dr. Frida, GLP-1s have become really, really popular. We've talked about it quite a few times here on the channel. We even cited one of the videos that you did talking about this. This is also an area of specialty that you have. So, walk us through this whole new surge in GLP-1s.
So the GLP-1s were first studied to treat type 2 diabetes, and they do a great job of that as far as getting the hemoglobin A1C down, the blood sugars down. But then a side effect was found that they could really cause great weight loss. And the really curious thing about the GLP-1s is that even if you don't have diabetes, then you can get weight loss, but your blood sugar doesn't drop the way that the drug works. Because what it does is it slows down the gastric emptying. So it slows down how quickly you get rid of food in your stomach, which makes you feel full longer. And if you feel full longer, you're less likely to eat. The other thing that it does is it cuts back on that food noise. So if you're someone who's kind of constantly craving food, carbs, salt, it cuts back on that. And so you don't have as much of an appetite. And which is why ultimately they became FDA approved for weight loss. And so it's really a magnificent drug, I'll say. I know that when it first came out, it really got demonized in a lot of ways because people who didn't actually need the drug, or at least, clinically speaking, it's not something that they didn't meet the criteria. It got abused in a lot of ways. So you would see everyone in Hollywood going from skinny to skinnier, dropping from a size 6 to a sub-0. And that's not the way that the drug was intended. Even for the people who are approved for weight loss, it's if you're at least living with being overweight. And so, it's something that's really had a lot of great things. Also, we found studies that taking these GLP-1s can keep you from having obstructive sleep apnea or help to treat obstructive sleep apnea. Wow. It can definitely decrease heart disease. We had something called the FLOW trial showing that for patients with diabetes and chronic kidney disease, taking the GLP-1s slowed down the progression of kidney disease. And so there's a whole lot of positive benefits, but it must be done under the supervision of a physician. And I saw that you mentioned with the Roe, they have the online doctors. It's important that when you have someone online, answer those questions honestly, because they're asking questions to protect you. Because if you don't need it, they're not going to give it to you, as long as you answer the questions honestly and let them know. Yeah.
And the video that you did talking about this, because I was having a big conversation over the weekend with a few friends, some that have recently started on GLP-1s, and I expressed, I was like, make sure you're doing this with a doctor, because it's become so popular where there's so many different services that are providing this medication. But I was like, there are things that you need to keep in mind. This is not some quick fix. You need to make sure that your diet is managed as well. You need to make sure that you're working with a doctor. You need to be looking at your blood work. Because I think a lot of people think that it's this quick fix and that you're just going to lose the weight, and they're not paying attention to all these other elements. And I'm going to leave it up to you, doctor, because they're not going to listen to me.
No, you're telling the truth 100%, because, and I really kind of hate the fact that it's called the skinny shot a lot, because it's not just that, it is for health. So case in point, if you're taking it and you're not taking it under the supervision of a physician, if you're not being honest with the physicians who prescribe it, then you can run into complications. One thing, the same way that the GLP-1s will decrease your food noise so you're not as hungry, they also decrease thirst noise so you're not as thirsty.
Ooh.
And so if you're not intentional, then you can get dehydrated. And if you get dehydrated, that could lead to kidney failure. If you get dehydrated, that can increase your risk for kidney stones. Also, with the food,
it all comes back to what we've been talking about this entire conversation.
It all comes back, absolutely. And then the same thing when we talk about eating. So if you just take the medicine and you don't have any food noise, if you're not careful, you can sit around and just not eat. And if that happens, you can get protein deficiency. You can literally get malnourished. Now, people who are living with a lot of, living with being overweight or living with obesity, they might hear me and be like, I don't care if I don't eat. I don't. No, yes, you do. Because if you have protein deficiency, look, this will make them care. You need proper protein for your collagen in your skin.
Ooh.
Okay. Can they hear me now?
And they gave you a good compliment. Let me get the compliment for you because they were just talking about your skin. They said, Ruth said, Dr. Frida's skin is amazing. You look good, sis.
Ooh, thank you. Thank you. Listen, I eat all the protein I'm supposed to eat. Listen, and drink all the water. But yeah, so even if you're someone who's like very, very overweight or you're living with obesity and you're like, I don't care if I don't eat. If you get protein deficiency and you lose that good old collagen and elastin in your skin, then you get what they used to call the Ozempic phase, the GLP-1 phase, where you start getting that sunken face or gaunt face. And I don't want to call anybody out because I don't know if this person is using weight loss shots or Ozempic or Wegovy or any of the things. But I will say, Kelly Osbourne. I don't know Osbourne. I know she's stressed.
Well, she's admitted that she is on.
She's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, I don't know if that's the reason that her face looks sunken in, but her face is a classic example of what a face of someone who's having protein deficiency and losing collagen and elastin. Your face can look like hers looks, which not even saying it as an insult. Her face is sunken in. Okay, she does look gaunt and she does look skeletal. Yeah. Just an observation. And so
I was wondering, I was like, well, it seems very dramatic in regards to like the facial changes that you saw and her mom.
Yes. And I know her mom had been open about having weight loss surgery, bariatric surgery years ago. Yeah. No secret, she shared it. But so for the people who are using it, they need to know they can get kidney failure, kidney stones, the Ozempic phase, but I'm saying Ozempic, but I'm talking about GLP-1s. But if you use it under supervision of a physician, and if you need it, then it can help. You can get the GLP-1 cholesterol, GLP-1 hemoglobin A1C. Your numbers really can look better. And just like you mentioned, the blood pressure, if you get to a healthy weight, then you can get a healthy blood pressure. And that's when I can start taking people off of medication. And so there are a lot of pros to the medicine. And while on the topic, Serena Williams, I saw a lot of people kind of trolling her. Or, I don't like the body. I like the other body. Yeah. You don't know her numbers. What if her cholesterol was going up? Okay. What if her blood pressure was going up? What if her hemoglobin A1C was going up and she had pre-diabetes? We don't know that. So it's not always about the superficial or the cosmetic. And so when we make comments about people, I don't like this, I don't like that, you don't know her health. And so we need to be really careful not to judge.
Yeah. So important. I had a couple of comments I wanted to highlight here. Paint These Wings says GLP-1 helped me with my PCOS.
Yes. Okay. So polycystic ovarian syndrome, polycystic ovary syndrome. And you know what? Lauren Harvey came out and shared that she has PCOS. So with PCOS, it's when you have, for women or people born as women, you get cysts on your ovaries, and it can cause you to have insulin resistance, meaning that even though your body's making insulin, your cells are not reacting to it, and that can put you at risk for diabetes. It can also cause other things like hair where you don't want it, hair on the face, hair on the chest, weight gain in the face, weight gain in the stomach, but mainly it's an insulin resistance. Your body's not responding. So being on GLP-1s for some people can help with the PCOS, where now your blood sugars go down, you start moving better, feeling better, you're less fatigued. And so there's a lot of medical reasons. And again, I don't know Serena Williams' medical issues. It's only for her to share if she were to have it. But let's just say she had PCOS. I don't know. We don't know that while people are sitting here judging her.
Yeah. Do you think that will change in regards to people's reaction to GLP-1s and just the fodder you see on social media when you hear? I mean, it is becoming very popular. It's to the point where they bought time on our podcast. So.
As we get more and more information, I think that people kind of negative reactions and judgment, I think they'll change over time. I do. But as with everything, you always are going to have that section of people who are using drugs incorrectly, abusing it, and they'll show up looking skeletal in a mess. And so that's going to make, some people be trolls. But overall, I think that as we gain more information about it, people will do better. But, folks are always looking for a reason to be ignorant. So we're still We still gonna have some people who act like they know everything.
And that's why we have you here to make sure our community is not ignorant on a topic like this. But I think it goes back to, again, going to the doctor, making sure that you fully understand if you are going to get on a GLP-1, understand what that means and what you should be doing. And also making sure that you maintain a healthy diet. We just collaborated recently with Nourish in regards to that. And one of their emphasis was on how they can help you through a journey with being on a GLP-1. So all of that's really, really important because some people don't understand what a healthy diet is for
Right,
them because our bodies are all very different. What works for me is not going to work for you. Oh, you know what I mean, or vice versa.
right.
Angel said that GLP-1s helped me lose the last bit of weight once I plateaued in my weight loss journey. Okay, and if
Yeah.
y'all know Angel, Angel stays in the gym. Angel says you
Mhm.
have to do it properly, lifestyle change, because if you just take the GLP-1 and don't change your habits, you will gain all the weight back. Uh, i.e., Black Dolores. You know what? Goodbye,
Oh,
Angel.
now you know it. She slipped Black Dolores in
I
there.
was like, wait a
We
minute,
move
wait a
on
minute.
to that.
We got
Yeah.
guests here, y'all. We can't be using our terms when our guests are here.
Oh, I know about Black Dolores.
Uh,
When I first heard that from Wendy Williams.
yes,
Black
yes,
Dolores. I'm like, what? She does
yes.
have features. She's beautiful.
Ree says, why are some people having digestive issues on GLP-1 medications?
Good question. That is a very real potential side effect where you can get something called gastroparesis. So the way that the GLP-1 works, again, it slows down the emptying of your stomach, right? Making you full for longer. Well, if on top of that, especially if you already have diabetes, one of the potential complications of diabetes is gastroparesis, which is where your stomach is slowed down to the point where your intestines in your stomach are paralyzed.
Mm,
And that can cause a lot of vomiting, and it can even be life threatening, cause severe dehydration. And so, if you're someone, especially if you already have a risk for gastroparesis or a history of gastroparesis, and you take the GLP-1, it's one of the risk factors. And even if you never had gastroparesis, then in it's slowing down your stomach, it's a risk factor. It's a rare complication, but it's a real one, which is why, again, it's important to take these medications under the supervision of a healthcare provider or a physician. And so they can give you those warning signs and let you know if you're at too high of a risk and if you don't need the medicine. If a patient comes to me and they've had a history of gastroparesis, I won't do the GLP-1,
mm.
period.
Again, why you go to the doctor. Farrah says semaglutide helped me with extra weight from menopause. Amazing.
Yep. Yep. We talked about that. It's true. The menopause.
Zero says, Kempire, I made an appointment with Nourish for tomorrow. I had seen Nourish everywhere, but because I trust you, I decided to go ahead and book an appointment. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I've been a part of the Nourish family for a long time, so I was loving it. You love it when you get an email from a product that you actually use.
Mm-hmm.
Saying. Miss Parker, thank you so much for the super chat. Miss Parker says, Dr. Frida and Kempire, I had an LADA diabetic type 1. I started Monjaro 3 years ago and I have lost 127 pounds. My A1C is 5.9. I'm no longer on long acting or short acting insulin. That's amazing.
That is amazing. And so she talked about her hemoglobin A1C at 5.9. And just for your viewers, if your hemoglobin A1C is less than 5.7, then you're not even in pre-diabetes range. But if it's 5.7 to 6.4, that's pre-diabetes. And so you want to make sure you're on top of it. And then if it's higher than 6.4, then it's considered to be diabetes. And so the 5.9, if you've had a diagnosis of diabetes, which she shared that she has, is really, really great. And that weight loss is taking away the risk, for worsening diabetes, heart disease, arthritis. I bet you move better, feel better. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Taurus Moon, we just literally answered this. Why do all those celebrities look skeletal? We were just talking about, I don't know if you just joined us, you can just rewind. We did address that. So be sure to check that out. So thank you, Ms. Parker, for the super chat. We appreciate it. And we appreciate Dr. Freda for being here. We thank you so much. We learned so much. And I hope you will come back because these pop culture health stories are always crossing our paths. And I'm sure you see from the audience alone, everyone has a lot of questions, including those of you watching the replay. So make sure you're subscribed to both of our channels because somewhere it will be answered. Trust me, you're not getting medical advice from me, okay? I'm just telling you what I can appreciate, and that is Dr. Freda. Dr. Freda, thank you so much for being here. What can people look forward to coming up on your channel and what you're posting?
Well, I'm always posting and sharing when I do the different national news shows, be it News Nation or Don Lemon. You want to talk about messy, where I talk about political health. You can see that, and about like our healthcare system and recommendations that are being made. So I'm there. I definitely release long form videos regularly. As you mentioned, we have over 974,000 subscribers on my channel. So if y'all could subscribe and help me get to 1 million, I would appreciate it. And over there, I have evidence-based medicine, of course, but if you watch my videos, you'll learn enough about different conditions, be it cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, you name it, vaccines. I talk about it all, and it allows you to go to your doctor where you can empower yourself by being that squeaky wheel and not being disrespected, and by getting your questions answered. So I'm at Dr. Frita on all platforms. So DrFrit, as in take care of yourself, and I have some special news coming up for my book. I actually have an audible version of my book coming up, which I'm very proud of, because that had
audible version.
It had its own challenges. Yeah. I'm very excited. So then people will be able to listen to Under Pressure, a guide to controlling high blood pressure there. I do different speaking engagements. I have telehealth. So if you want to do an appointment, I can talk to you from anywhere in the world. I can treat you, for obesity medicine, kidneys, many, many more things. And so, yeah. And then on Mondays, I have my own live where I go through and I talk about the different latest trending medical headlines and celebrity health news. That's on Mondays. I do that at noon Eastern Standard Time.
Most definitely. Taco says, we love our Black female doctors. We definitely do. RV says, I wish Dr. Freda would come back and discuss sickle cell anemia. She will be back. She's a part of the community.
I'll be back. Yeah,
thank you. Definitely be back. So, Dr. Freda, thank you so much for being here. And thank you all for being here. Don't forget, if you are watching this, be sure to like the video. If you're part of the replay, be sure to share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. We're going to continue this conversation there. Dr. Freda, thank you for being here. Everyone have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.
Here we go now. Here we go.